It is a cold and rainy day in Rancho Cordova, but we are here because we have a brand new flip that we just closed on. So we want to take you through it. That's all coming up next on Flipping in Heels. So we are back on Flipping in Heels. I am your host, Olivia Barrett, and I am joined again with the wonderful Ildi sign horse today. Show hands. And we're here to show you a new flip that we just closed on. Ildi hasn't had the opportunity to view this house yet. I viewed it before everything was taken out of it. So let's go take a look and we'll show you what we're doing. I mean, off the bat, do you see the ceiling?
Yeah.
So
it's clean under there,
it
though,
is clean.
Yeah.
In most of the areas, though, you can tell that there was damage to the roof. So we actually are ripping off the entire roof in this house, including the sheathing, which is pretty much probably all dry rot anyways.
Yeah.
And then we're scraping the popcorn off inside.
Well, they got it started for you.
Yeah,
over there.
they actually started, and they started other things too. If you notice, there, I believe, used to be carpet throughout the house, and you'll kind of still see the tracks throughout where carpet used to be affixed to. And you can also see the carpet frays and the difference between the tile and the vinyl floor. So we love hardwood floors. I love to refinish them. These are just unfortunately beyond repair. There's a lot of buckling in the bedrooms and stuff too. So we're gonna just go over this in the main area with a nice laminate and then carpet in the bedrooms. So.
Okay. So if you didn't have the buckling, would you have opted to sand this down where the stain, like just sand it all down to get rid of all the stains and then restain it?
Possibly. In this house though, no, because it's a budget thing. We're looking at about $6 a square foot to come in and sand and stain versus I can get a good laminate in here for $350 a square
Waterproof
foot.
laminate, yeah.
We have a really tight budget on this one. We actually picked it up off the market for $250. So it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. Actually has a huge backyard, 0.21 acre lot, which is great for the area. So it's a tight budget though, so it'll be a nice one for a family. We have about $45,000 budgeted for the repairs, and then a resale of about $350. If we're really lucky, we might be able to push it to around $375. So it will be our open concept living room, and then they started the demo for us. So I think they stopped because they weren't sure whether or not it was load bearing. So we're not also sure that it's load bearing. Josh needs to go up there and investigate up in the attic space to see. So if it is load bearing, we're gonna have to have a beam going across. We usually recess the beams into the ceiling so that they're not seen. We could, to save money, have it drop down, but if we did, it would mean the beam would come all the way down to about here.
Yeah.
Which, we can get creative with our design, but there's a jog. So it'd be really strange to have this beam going down, jog out and back that way. So one idea that I threw out to Josh is I said, like, if it was too expensive that we couldn't recess it, if it turns out to be load bearing, then we can build in a pantry here. It still just messes up the whole look because this is designed to be all kitchen.
Yeah.
We wanted an island right here, basically L-shape, the cabinets. This to be the dining space here, and then opened up to the living space.
If you did have to leave it, could you widen this by about 1.5 feet?
So you could, however, this is going to be all dining space, so it would still make for a closed-off kitchen.
Yeah.
So one of the things we thought about too is that if we recess the beam, we actually don't have enough clearance in the attic space over here because it slopes down right there, so we would have to build a dormer, which would be all right, you know. So we're hoping we don't have this issue, that it's not load bearing. We just take it out, no big deal.
I think worst case scenario, if you do have to leave it, widen it as much as you can and put in some, because you have that's a foot jog, put in floating shelves.
Yeah, we could
do that design element in there if you have to.
We'll have to reverse it this way and do a peninsula rather than an island. But by next episode, we'll be able to tell you what we found out and whether or not we can just open this up or if we have to get creative with it. But right now, that's one of the things that we're working on with the plans. Like I said, roof needs to be done. There is one thing that they did to the house and actually finished it, which was the HVAC, which is great for us. Putting in HVAC typically costs around $7,500 for us to put in a brand new system, do the HERS test, permit it, all of that. But they have a new unit out there and did a new system, but they did it through a PACE lien. So luckily, we knew about it ahead of time and were able to get the seller paid it off. But it is one of those.
And how do you find out about those?
Through a preliminary title report. So during escrow, we do a prelim title report. This time around, though, it was interesting. It brought up something that we hadn't really occurred to us, which was we release contingencies up front. We always do, because we come take a look at the property at first. We never ask for repairs. We know what we're getting into. But, you know, Maddie brought up the point of like, well, what if this had come up later? We didn't know about it. And then there is a large, I think it was like $12,000
that could blow your whole budget.
It could have blown we wouldn't have been able to pay for it. So a couple things that you can do. You can either make it contingent upon just a preliminary title report, or you can look up, like, PACE liens actually attach onto your tax record. So we could have found it through looking at the county assessor's site. Or if you have a relationship with a title officer, like we do, your agent should have a good relationship. Then you'll be able to just pull up a property profile, which will give you the gist of liens on the property, and this would be one of those.
It's nice you found out about it.
Oh my gosh. I've had some where they want to pass it on to the buyer, and you're like, that's expensive. I mean, the interest rate on those are like typically around 8% or higher. They're 20-year loans. So 8% may not seem like much, but amortize that over 20 years, you are double paying for that. And they charge you extra. They, like, that being $10,000, $12,000, we would have paid $7,500. So
I got a phone call the other day about somebody that was trying to sell me a PACE.
Oh, really?
I'm like, oh, no, I'm good, thanks.
Sometimes they call them hero loans or things, and they sound good, and they're like, oh, no problem, they go on your taxes. Well, taxes are still a bill. And in fact, it's worse than a normal lien, because if you have something on your property tax bill, sometimes it'll affect your debt to income ratio when you're getting a loan. So they have to actually include that as a cost. Versus, you know, solar is a good one to talk about, because solar, if you have it attached onto your tax record, it will affect your debt to income ratio, or if you have a lease on it, it'll affect your debt to income ratio. Versus you're paying for electricity, they don't include that in your debt to income. So it can blow up a deal. It's a lot to think about. Make sure you have a good agent backing you up. We can help you. We should do show hands all the whole time.
So back to the HVAC, when they installed the new system, did that include ductwork?
Yes.
Oh, nice. And a new furnace, so the whole entire system.
We haven't tested it yet, so we're going to have our guys come through and make sure that everything is working properly. But yes, it included the whole thing. So it was great. One less thing that we have to do.
One big ticket item off the list.
But we still need to do half the windows. We still need to do the roof, kitchen, flooring, paint, 2 bathrooms. Let me show you the bathrooms.
Well, I have a question. So the electrical, it looks like they started to maybe upgrade it. I'm not sure if that's a cable. Do you have that budgeted to do some rewiring, or?
Yes, all of this has to be redone, regardless if it's load bearing or not. This all has to be relocated.
Bring it up to code and stuff too in the kitchen.
Correct. We have to bring it to code. It's all being permitted, so they're going to come check and make sure that the electrical is to code.
Cool.
Doesn't mean you have to do the whole house, but the areas that you touch, you have to now bring up to code.
And the bathrooms are really nice.
Way too soon.
I can't wait. Bathrooms. Oh, there you go. Double stick tape.
So bathroom number 1. Not too bad, pretty simple.
Okay.
There is a hole in the wall right here though. I'm not sure what that's about. Which is interesting because the tile, oh wow. Oh, it's all over here too. Oh, there's a bug in there. Is that a picture bug? Something's going on behind this wall here because it's actually coming out fully here and that was tile up. And right there too. So we might have an issue with it actually coming through the wall.
Were you planning on gutting this to the studs in here? Okay.
So we'll find it anyways. This is all coming out.
Yeah.
And we'll redo it. Other than that, pretty standard bathroom.
Yeah. It's interesting. You don't see tile running to the ceiling very often in this age house.
You know, I think this used to be a really nice house.
I bet.
You could tell with kind of some, like you said, going all the way up with the tile. The flooring used to be really nice. You know, and it's always one of those things where I feel like it's such a shame because the house at one point you can tell was loved and then it just kind of fell apart. But we're gonna bring it back.
How's the other
to its
bathroom?
former glory. I haven't seen it yet. See, you could tell all the carpet. It's funny, it's like they recently took out the carpet.
It probably was so stained.
Yeah. Oh. It's not as bad as Davis.
It's not?
Oh, God.
Oh, are you sure?
That is so gross.
Okay. So,
God, what happened?
so then you would have the shower head. Oh my God. Oh, is that poo? Is it? Oh no, it's a Hershey bar. There's a wrapper on the floor. There's a wrapper on the floor. Oh gosh, that's okay. I'm not going in anymore. So the shower head would be on this wall, and then you would have the glass coming out. You would enter the shower the same way you enter it now, and then the toilet can stay where it's at.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking, how ironic. To
You're
have
still
a
thinking
Hershey
about the
bar
Hershey bar.
wrapper.
It's a mean trick. It's a mean.
I feel like the only way to know for sure is to smell it, but
No. Ew.
Oh no, there's a huge bar. That's not a Hershey bar. That's not a Hershey bar. Okay,
Ew.
so
Okay.
we're gonna extend the shower, and then we're going to put in a new toilet and then a new.
Yeah.
We're calling
Okay.
that bathroom a day.
Good.
All right. So let's talk about the floor plan. Ideally, what we drew out and what we'd like to see is, like I said, L shape here and the kitchen, island here, dining room, living room, consistency in the flooring in all of the living spaces, including the hallway, and then carpet in the bedrooms.
Yeah. Okay. And your island would go kind of from like here to where you're standing
And
this
actually
way?
go all the way to here.
Okay.
So we're extending
nice.
the kitchen this way. We have room for it. You have plenty of space. This will be relocated over. There's plenty of space to do a nice dining room table there and have a much larger kitchen.
Yeah.
So we already budgeted out all of the cabinets, quartz countertops.
And the sink would stay at the window, and would you move the stove to the island or leave it where it's at?
It's still there because
Okay.
it's the best place to vent it out.
Okay.
And the sink is the best location too,
Nice.
being right underneath that window. So there is a water heater in the garage, and so we can easily run a gas line there, and that's what we budgeted for is a gas range, which really isn't much more expensive. It's a couple $100 versus an electric stove, but buyers really like gas versus electric.
I agree. And then when you run the kitchen over here, are you gonna do uppers on the other side of the window? Nice. This would be a nice kitchen.
So uppers will be along here and all along this wall. There will be base cabinets also in the same place, and then there will be a large island going this way.
I like
So
it.
I think it'll be nice.
Yeah, good space.
So Thanks for watching this week. We will come back with you next week and talk about some of our projects that are in progress right now. Davis, we're still waiting on permits. Unfortunately, it's just been a really long wait, but we're hoping to be able to get started on that project soon. We are figuring out a plan for the Fairfield house. Hobson, which is the West Sacramento house, is I just got tile picked out this morning. Cool. That's finally getting some finishing touches going in, so we might check in on that one next week too. And my mother-in-law, Cindy's kitchen, is well on its way. The cabinet order has gone in. We are still on the hunt for the best countertop. She's decided quartz is not good for her because it is heat resistant. However, if you put a pot directly on it, because it's about 90% resin, which is plastic, it can destroy the countertop. And so we're looking at other options for her on that. But we'll keep you posted on all of those projects next week. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks again to Ildi for stopping by today. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.